In this video, I'll talk about the 5 adjustments Carlo Ancelotti needs to make to defeat Manchester City in the game on Wednesday. The first leg at the Bernabeu was very competitive, but Manchester City was held to an XG of 0.56. And for those of you that are not familiar with what XG is, it's the expected goals metrics that's used to measure the quality of a chance and the probability it will be converted. Real Madrid had an XG of 1.58, which also points to success with scoring really difficult opportunities. But when we concede 3 goals against an XG of 0.56, then you just know that luck is just not on your side. What will help Real Madrid defeat City is not luck. For many so-called experts, the tie is over. But given the competitive nature of the game and all the chances missed by Rodrigo and Vinicius, we should expect a more competitive second leg than last season. In this video, I'll break down the 5 adjustments Carlo needs to make in the return leg against Manchester City on Wednesday. The first adjustment I think Carlo Ancelotti needs to make in the return leg against City is to steal a page out of Mikel Arteta's playbook, which is to go long from goal kicks and not to invite pressure high up the field against this Manchester City team. We can expect City to be a lot more aggressive in the second leg, and it would be a mistake to try to invite pressure and to give up the ball to them in our half. And this is especially important in the first 15 minutes, where they're going to try to throw everything at us and try to score a goal and set the tone from the beginning. So it'll be really critical in the first 15 minutes and as well as throughout the game to go long from goal kicks especially. And the second change that's needed against Manchester City on Wednesday is to change the formation. When we played against City on Tuesday, the team formed a 4-5-1 with Vini playing as the focal number 9. The change that's needed, in my opinion, for the return leg is a 5-4-1 with Valverde playing in the right back or right wing position. This will give the team the width out of possession, but also not leaving too many players behind the ball when the ball is in transition. Now, one of the biggest challenges will be if we play a 5-4-1 is either Rodrigo or Brahim, whoever starts will need to play the right wing role where Valverde was playing in the last game. That would mean Jude would be on the left hand side, Rodrigo on the right, and we'd form a double pivot of Cruz and Camavinga. This approach, in my opinion, will give the team more solidity. Valverde can defend Jack Grealish 1-on-1 and Mendy can go 1-on-1 against Phil Foden. One of the things that hurts the team is our fullbacks being dragged out of position. This approach might be a solution to that problem, which brings me to my third point, which is the defending outside the box. This has been the biggest challenge the squad has faced, with both City's goals coming from shots from outside of the box. But one could make the argument limiting City to an XG of 0.56 is a successful execution of the strategy. As I mentioned above, the team needs to move to a back 5, and part of the reason I made this point is our fullbacks are dragged out of position to work the ball outside the box and to take a shot on target. Given the form that Ferland Mendy is on right now, I feel comfortable leaving him 1-on-1 with either Foden or Bernardo. Their goal is to work the ball out to the wide positions to find players on the outside of the box or find late runners into the box. So it's important for the pivot players to stay disciplined and protect that area, as well as the center backs to defend our box and shut down those runs through the channels. Unfortunately, Courtois is still injured, otherwise we would be leading in this tie. We just need to make sure Lunin isn't tested too much. The team being compact is going to be really critical in not giving City too much space to play, which brings me to my fourth point, which is be smart with the pressing. In the last game, we pressed the ball high, but it was also clear that it was not synchronized. The most effective pressing patterns are when a team concisely presses the outlets, meaning you're pressing a player to force a pass that's ultimately intercepted. The times we press the wide players, they are still able to find players centrally, which was most of the time Rodri. What City will look to do in this game is use the bounce pass tactic, and that's why it will be critical to be smart with our press and really commit to it as a team. This can't be a situation where 1 or 2 of our players have a lot of space behind them for City to exploit. The team needs to be compact with more emphasis on leaving less space in the middle of the park. And when we win the ball back, there needs to be outlets that can be found in transition. Sitting in a deep block where there's no players to combine with on the counter attack means our chances to score are minimized. Which brings me to the 5th and final point, which is don't get blitzed in the first 15 minutes of the match. This is truly critical. We cannot get overwhelmed with the pressing and the pressure in the first 15 minutes moments of the game. We need to take control of the match from the beginning by playing with a lot more energy from the start. Sitting in a deep block and letting them gain momentum can get things started on the wrong foot. In our last game, we created more chances than them. We were the better side, so we have to play this game with more confidence. And the last few things I want to talk about and observations that I made in the last game was the balance in midfield. Kroos did a really good job of switching the play. Camavinga, and a couple times where he received the ball in tight spaces, he was able to take a few more touches and dribble out of tough spots. And Valverde was doing a lot of one-touch passes. That balance will be required again, especially from Valverde, who was able to receive the ball and had that awareness of knowing where it needed to go next by only taking 1 or 2 touches. We have to be really smart about how we use our energy, and Carlo cannot be afraid in this return leg to use the substitutes earlier in the match. Let me know in the comments if you agree with my assessment of what needs to be done to defeat City, and do you think that we can shock the world on Wednesday? I'll create another video of a preview of the game closer to the match after all the press conferences and everything, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of the upcoming content regarding the match. Thank you for watching. Hala Madrid.